Welcome you all. Today we will talk about one of the most interesting chapter in science, the cell, the very fundamental unit of life. Now today even we would be discussing about the cell. We would be talking about the major component or one of the major component, that is the plasma membrane. First of all, we have to know the definition of the cell. The structural and the functional unit of living body formed of a auto-replicating mass of protoplasm enclosed by a semi-permeable membrane is called cell. This is an onion peel. Let us take a small piece from an onion pulp. With the help of a pair of forceps, we can peel off the skin from the concave side of the onion. This layer can be put immediately in a watch glass containing water. This will prevent the peel from getting folded or getting dry. After that, take a glass slide, put a drop of water on it and transfer a small piece of peel from the watch glass to the slide. Make sure that the peel is perfectly flat on the slide. A thin camel hair paintbrush might be necessary to help the transfer the peel. Now we put a drop of safranin solution on this piece followed by a cover slip. Take care to avoid air bubbles while putting the cover slip with the help of mounting needle. What do we observe? We observe some honeycomb-like structures which is called as cell. Cells were first discovered by Robert Hooke in 1665. He observed the cells in a cork slice with the help of a primitive microscope. After that, Leeuwenhoek, 1674, with the improved microscope, discovered the free living cell in a pond water for the first time. Let's first talk about the very first discovery of the cell. As we have already covered in class 7, Robert Hooke was the scientist who first discovered the cell. After that, it was Robert Brown in 1831 who discovered the nucleus in the cell. Purkinje in 1839 coined the term protoplasm for the fluid substance of the cell. Then you have Clayton and Swan who laid forward the cell theory, which we would study in 11 and 12. The cell theory was further explained by Virchow 1855 by suggesting that all cells arise from the pre-existing cells. Now talk about what are living organisms made up of. The invention of magnifying lenses led to the discovery of microscopic world. It is now known that a single cell may constitute a whole organism, as in amoeba, chlamydomonas, paramecium, and bacteria. These organisms are called unicellular organisms. Unicellular means single. On the other hand, many cells group together in a single body and assume different function in it to form a various body parts in multicellular organism. Multi means many. For example, fungi, plants, animals, etc. Let's talk about shape and size of the cell. Size of the cell varies in different organisms. In the living world, the smallest organism is the Mycoplasma gallisepticum. The largest unicellular plant cell is a marine alga named Acetobulus. The smallest cell in human body is lymphocyte and the longest cell is the nerve cell. Let's talk about plasma membrane or cell membrane, which is also known as plasma lemma. First of all, we have to know what is the definition of plasma membrane or cell membrane. So every living cell encloses its protoplasmic mass within a thin, elastic, semi-permeable lipoproteinous trilaminar dynamic membrane. This membrane is called cell membrane or plasma membrane. Nageli and Kramer in 1855 first observed the existence of cell membrane, but naming was done by Plough in 1931. Plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane. It allows or permits the entry and exit of some material in and out of the cell. It also prevents movement of some other materials. Therefore, it is known as selectively permeable membrane. How does the movement of substance takes place in the cell? Or how does substances move out of the cell? Some substances like carbon dioxide or oxygen can move across the cell membrane by a process called diffusion. We have studied the process of diffusion in earlier chapters. We saw that there is a spontaneous movement of substance from a region of high concentration to a region where its concentration is low. Something similar to this happens in cells when, for example, some substance like CO2 accumulates in high concentration inside the cell. In the cell's external environment, the concentration of CO2 is low as compared to the inside the cell. As soon as there is a difference of concentration of CO2 inside and outside a cell, CO2 moves out of the cell from a region of high concentration to region of low concentration outside the cell by the process of diffusion. Similarly, O2 enters the cell by the process of diffusion when the level or concentration of O2 inside the cell decreases. Thus, diffusion plays an important role in gaseous exchange between the cell as well as the cell and its external environment. Water also obeys the law of diffusion. The movement of water molecules through such a selectively permeable membrane is known as osmosis. The movement of water across the plasma membrane is also affected by the amount of substance dissolved in water. Thus, osmosis is a passage of water from a region of high water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane to a region of low water concentration. Now, osmosis can be explained under hypertonic solution, hypotonic solution and isotonic solution. If the medium surrounding the cell has a higher water concentration than the cell, meaning that the outside solution is very dilute, the cell will gain water by osmosis. Such a solution is known as hypotonic solution. Water molecules are free to pass across the cell membrane in both the directions, but more water will come into the cell than will leave. If the amount or the medium has exactly the same water concentration as the cell, there will be no net movement of water across the cell membrane. Such a solution is known as isotonic solution. Water crosses the cell membrane in both the directions in this solution. Or the last one, if the medium has a lower concentration of water than the cell, meaning that it is a very concentrated solution, the cell will lose water by osmosis. Such a solution is known as hypertonic solution. So again, water crosses the cell membrane in both the direction, but this time more water leaves the cell than enter it. Therefore, the cell will shrink. These are the examples of the solutions of the osmosis. Thank you.